Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Susan Lynn. I predict politics here on YouTube. And here I have my friend Kevin, Loving Vibrations, who also has a channel on YouTube. You're probably familiar with both of us, and I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. How are you doing, Kevin? You doing all right tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Susan? Good to be
Good. We were
here.
just talking backstage about how the energy is pretty tough on empaths right now.
Yeah.
So just FYI, if you're feeling drained or over it, it's a lot. It's a lot going on, and you have every right to feel like that. And just try to take care of yourself.
Self-care is so important right now for empath. I think for everybody. I think
For
everybody's
everybody.
exhausted, but
Yeah, whether you think you're an empath or not, it's a lot. It's
yeah.
just a lot. And we were talking, Kevin said he was up late last night watching the election results in Michigan, even though he's
Yeah.
not in Michigan. He got wrapped up in it. And we were talking about El Said, and we were just talking about how we both have seen the Democratic Party having some challenges, potentially splitting. And this energy is really starting to appear in our
Mm,
3D world, right? Because this guy had so much money against him. He had some pretty powerful APAC like and APAC different political action committees that were absolutely not supporting him and supporting his opponent. And yet he pulled it off. I think this is another message to the Democratic establishment to kind of wake up. But I'm not sure that I see them waking up. Do you see
n-
them waking up, Kevin?
Not just yet, but I feel like they're obviously not very happy.
All right. They're
I
probably
feel like they
wondering.
feel
I
a bit
mean,
threatened. Yeah.
oh my gosh. Becky just
They're
saw a
very
big black
exciting for
bear.
them.
Wow. I don't know
Oh,
where you
geez.
are, but I hope you're safe somewhere. I'm not afraid of them, but let's not make this any more exciting than it needs to be, I guess. um
I'll just say, we're talking a little bit about it, all this collective energy and empaths and sensitives picking it up. I'll say, and I don't typically remember my dreams. I don't get a deep enough sleep to, but I've been having so many like prophetic visions like the last
have you?
month or two. Yeah. Can I share something that came
Yeah, I
through?
would love
I
to.
shared it
Well,
on my
yeah, you're
YouTube.
not gonna do a cliffhanger and just leave us
Yeah,
hanging
leave the
here.
suspense there. I it was like last weekend, and I've never had a dream experience like this. So I actually physically felt things in the dream. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just felt like my body, the area around me just started shaking kind of violently. And I got a falling sensation, like I was falling back to my body. But as I was um feeling that sensation and it kind of startled me almost awake. I saw a vision of the Colosseum in Rome crumbling and falling. And actually, some people told me afterwards, I shared it on YouTube. Um, one of the volcanoes in the area actually had a pretty decent sized earthquake there too, literally the same day that I dreamt it. So I kind of felt like, usually with dreams, they are metaphoric or symbolic, but I did feel like there were some literal aspects to it too. All the earthquakes. I've been feeling volcanic activity. But I took it more as symbolic of like, you know, the power players and establishment and you know, maybe the US on like a world stage, like the great Roman Empire collapsing. Um, I feel some really big shifts starting to take place here.
Yeah. It's interesting because I don't know if you've seen this, but I've always seen him being Brutus. I've always seen him being betrayed by Brutus, et tu Brutus. I've always seen him being Caesar. So I've
Mhm.
always connected him to Rome.
You
Uh,
kind of got those
you
Roman
know,
analogies.
yeah, his
Mm,
energy feels very, while Rome was burning kind of energy. So I think it's interesting that you're also picking up on this Roman aspect of it.
yeah.
And
And I don't even follow a lot of like Roman civilization or like more
Right.
ancient civilization or anything like that. Um, but I do think it's like the power dynamics, power for the people kind of uprising um and also I think it's really much like this new earth concept, where a lot of that toxic masculinity and power starts to crumble so that we can become more heart-centered and compassionate and loving towards one another, supportive of one another.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying it's all going to happen tomorrow, and I don't know if I necessarily feel the Colosseum's going to fall into itself, but no, it was just interesting because I felt the sensations in my body so strongly. It was pretty jarring.
Right. That makes it come home a little bit more,
Yeah,
right?
I
When
definitely
you're
remembered
like
that dream.
shaking and you're like, so if you go back into that energy and you were experiencing sort of this dismantling, is that what you would call it? Or
Like
like
crumbling.
fracturing, crumbling?
We've talked about the dam breaking, that analogy. And it's like things are shaking loose.
Yeah.
That pressure is released.
Yeah. It can't support
No.
the weight of the evil that it has. It's the evil is outgrown the ability to support itself. So it's just going to fall apart, which is, I think, often what happens. Criminals eventually get caught, right? Evil eventually gets vanquished. Um, and people have been talking a lot lately about how long um, Hitler was in power, or
Mm,
how long certain things have happened in our history that were really challenging, Civil War, those kinds of things. And this is a blip. Historically, this
mhm.
guy hasn't had us in a chokehold that long. And I feel like things are changing too from a different perspective. I see Kamala Harris being more active. I've
Yeah.
always said that presidential library Obama unveiled that did some kind of timeline switch, that was a tear in the timeline.
I
Like,
felt the same. Like things happening behind the scenes for me when the Trump name got removed from the Kennedy Center felt very
right,
significant
some
and
things
symbolic. Yeah.
just have so much more energy. Well, that's pretty amazing. I mean, I remember you having some of these kind of premonitions, and they're usually accurate. So wish we could get a little bit more timing on this,
Yeah,
but
that's always the
they
hard
don't have
part.
clocks over there. They don't have calendars over there. We're the only ones that have these things called time. Um,
And I think sometimes too, I think while we're in the middle of it, like it seems like, well, in fairness, we've been dealing with PTSD from Trump
that's true.
and all of this for like the last 10 years. But if you kind of look at it a big picture and all of the change that's going to be ushering in,
Mhm.
um, I actually feel like it's kind of moving very quickly, even though I
Yeah,
don't think in the
that's true.
moment we're feeling it, but we're
That's
all
true.
feeling like time speeding up. I mean, I swear
Yeah.
it's like a day goes by, it feels like it's a couple hours, and it's like, uh, you know, I was just working on this like a month ago, and it felt like it was, 2 days ago. It's just like time's just going so crazy and fast right now, too, which I think is kind of helping us um, because it's ushering in that change quickly, right?
It's interesting because I do this channeled newsletter every Friday, and I do it a few days early so that I can. I mean, it's a channeled, so I have to figure out what the hell they're talking about, right? So I have to rewrite it in sentences. Um, and guess what their topic was? Time. And I remember when I sat down to channel it because they were already talking to me about time,
Mm,
and I did not want to write this newsletter about time. I didn't understand why that would be important. So I sit down to channel it. And the first thing I said was, "So you want to talk about time?" And I was like, I'm not into physics. You know what I mean? I'm not. But what they said was what you're saying is that the delay between your action and consequence is less.
mm,
That also means we're manifesting faster. So it
yeah.
means, and they talked about the new earth. We've been hearing this for a long time, a 5D new earth. And they said really what it boils down to is that right now there's a quickening of time, as you're saying. And as you manifest, as you think positive thoughts about yourself, your outcome, you're going to go that direction into that
You're
manifestation.
creating that.
You're creating it. If
Mhm.
you and I'm just telling you, I'm not judging because I get it. But those people that are stuck in fear and it's all over, we're never going to get out of this. It's over, Susan. Just give it up. Those people are going to go into that reality. And
Mhm.
and unfortunately, that's what the guides were saying is that there's a quickening of your manifestation. So now more than ever, try to look. I'm not saying don't pay attention to what's happening. And I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not saying this is a great time in our history, but I am saying that despite whatever's happening, we can do good work in our
Yeah.
neighborhood. We could do good work for ourselves. We can do good work in our community, in our state, in our country. And that's really where the energy is, if you really want to boost that energy. So I think that's interesting that you got that same
Mm.
energy around time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree, we're all human, we're not perfect. We have good days and we have stressful days, especially, if you're picking up on all this collective stress, but um yeah, I think it's just trying your best to get out of the fear. And I actually think maybe a lot of the stuff going on in the world right now may be a bit of a test for us all, right? Because
Yeah.
it's out of our
Yeah.
control. Doesn't mean that we have to ignore it or we can't take action to speak up
Right.
against what we want to create. But
That's right.
it's almost like not allowing all of those outside influences to don't bring that into your inner vibration and frequency, right?
Or redirect it. I mean, it's going to come in
Yeah.
and then redirect yourself. I am absolutely devastated about what's happening in these detention centers. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely devastated by it. I'm devastated by the fires. I'm devastated by all the horrible things that are happening worldwide. But if I allow myself to be in that devastation, I'm giving up my life. I'm
You,
literally giving up my life. I'm not living my life anymore. And
when
that
you're
is
creating more
so important.
suffering and you're putting more energy into suffering in
And
the
I'm
world.
putting more energy out there into that pain and worry and and all of those things. So it's you know here we are. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're interested, susanlynnmedium.com, you can sign up for my free newsletter. So let's get going. Here's a question about and I wondered the same thing myself. So Anne Morgan says, you're in Ireland trying to wait for sleep to arrive, and I've been there and I'm sorry. Do either of you think the people were paid to set fires in Spokane to make people leave the area so that those data centers
Oh,
can
that's
be
an
built?
interesting question.
I know it is an interesting, and I've wondered the same thing because even in Canada, you see these fires and you think, what are the odds? I mean, a lightning strike, that makes sense, right? But some of these fires just don't make sense to me. And I would not put it past them to burn down something so that then they can say, well, it's burned down. We might as well use it, right?
Yeah.
Um, Plus, it also directs your attention, right? If you're worried about a fire, you can't be worried about what the law they're passing or what they're doing over here.
I will say I agree with you. That's kind of I didn't even actually think of that, but it's not resonating to me as truth. Um I'm just gonna throw a few cards on like motives behind this. I think to me it feels like it was started because, unfortunately we have some people that are bullies and like saying destruction, right?
Okay, well, there you go. So it was arson, regardless
It was
of the
arson.
reason. It could be just one of the people that was caught. I don't remember if this was here in Canada, is a guy that already had a rap sheet. He already had some sort of criminal history.
Okay.
Um, and they caught him. And that's just as you're saying, this is an idiot that just has no understanding of human life or human welfare.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think all of the fires, are man created. My guides were telling me at the beginning of the year, it's going to be a horrible fire
What's
season and heat,
it's
and we're witnessing it, and I think it's going to get worse. I hope I'm wrong, but
It was
um,
the fire horse year. You guys, we predicted these
yeah.
fires. We've been saying we've been warning you guys that fires are going to be the topic this year more
Mhm.
than anything.
But I will say, even though for this specific question, for the Washington fire, um, for data centers being built, I don't believe that's the case for this one, but I actually feel like there's some energy maybe for other
Oh,
fires that have
there's okay.
started.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, when you look at what they've done, you can only extrapolate that that could be a thing that they would do
Oh
because
yeah,
this is right up what the kind of things that they would do. Uh,
absolutely.
um, here's some, let me just do something else and then see if you have anything else. Have you read on Blanche? I have been seriously otherwise, busy with
Yeah, you've got a
history.
lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, but have you read on Blanche being confirmed?
I have, and I did feel like there would be a delay. I ultimately felt him going in, and I think just saw the delay. Um,
Right.
but my feeling with it too is almost as quick as he gets in, he's
Oh, he's
out
out.
just as
Yeah.
quickly. Let me throw a few cards on it because I haven't checked in a few weeks. But Susan Collins,
Mm-hmm.
that she wasn't voting for it.
Oh, yeah,
And I
that's
don't
right.
think Mitch is going to be able to vote from beyond the veil. So I think they can
Oh
only
my
afford to
God.
lose one more. But I think it's also planned too. Like they know how to get just enough votes so that
Yeah,
it takes some of the pressure off of
that's
some
what I
people,
saw.
like Susan Collins, with her
Yeah,
reelection.
yeah.
Uh,
They're gonna allow her to look like
to vote
she's
no.
standing tough. Meanwhile, they'll get somebody else to take her place.
I see him getting through, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I saw it even if he doesn't get confirmed, they'll give him a temporary, remember how they did that temporary thing and they just kept keeping people in temporary roles
Oh yeah, I
and
mean,
never
even if he
confirming
wasn't
them?
getting confirmed, he would
They're
have been
not
an
gonna follow
asset.
any rules,
Yeah,
So even if he
and I
doesn't get
tell you
confirmed,
though, I don't get him in the job for very long. He's got Five of Pentacles, which is losing your security.
oh, we love
And
that.
I do get that there's some anxiousness, and I think it has to do with the Epstein file cover up and
Nice.
secrets coming out that will lead to him being removed.
Nice.
But yeah, I do unfortunately see him being confirmed
It's
briefly.
just hard to wrap your head around.
Somebody
Literally
was,
hard to
yeah,
wrap
and
your
I
head.
hadn't heard this, but somebody was saying that there was like a memo that wasn't supposed to be public about how he's going to ban abortion in all 50 states, which I don't see how he has the authority to do that because a lot of these, I mean, states have their own laws for abortion too. So how does he have federal
Mhm,
power over the states' rights?
mhm. Well, that's the next thing.
Yeah.
That's the next thing. It's so interesting because all of us remember that Republicans were all about states' rights. Remember, they were
Oh yeah.
all about states' rights. Now they're like, oh no, the federal government needs to control the states because they have captured the federal government. Yeah, he'll threaten exactly, Barbara.
I
He'll
don't see
threaten
him
the
being able to
states.
do it though. And we're talking about Firehorse here. I've been talking about massive record-breaking protests, and that's what I feel. People aren't going to just idly stand by and allow this
Um,
to happen.
they're just about to they're just about to break. People are
Yeah.
just about to break. And I got this download a few days ago about
Yeah.
how, and I'm not saying that I'm a counselor because I'm not, or that I understand this, but the way the guides explained it to me is the United States writ large is like an abused person who is the abuser is the Republican Party, and the
Mhm.
citizens are like, we just need to try to stay alive, right? We just need to go along with this crazy person until we can figure out what's going on and we can get our senses about us and we can create an escape plan. I think the United States, a lot of the United States, is simply in freeze mode. which was what happens when you're in an abusive situation. You might
Yeah.
freeze, and then you might fawn, right? You might like be like, oh, okay, okay, I'm on your side. But when they figure out, because this is what's happening, when they figure out that neither one of those things are going to work, and that they're going to be public enemy number one anyway, like nothing you do is going to save you. You're still going to
Mm.
have to pay those prices. You're still going to have less jobs. If you're black or brown or LGBTQ, you're going to be, hunted. People are going to put that together, and they're going to be like, okay, never mind. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to get in the streets like you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you know what too? It's building momentum. We have midterms coming up in less than 3 months, right? Because I feel like, I haven't been really hearing a whole lot of messaging behind the Democrats in leadership positions, right? They've been,
Other than messaging against Mom Donmi and
yeah, except
Sayed
for,
and people
I,
like
you know,
that, they got lots
I
of
wish they
messaging
would
about.
take, I wish they would take a fraction of their fight against all of these
I know.
democratic socialists and progressives, and just match a little bit of that energy towards Trump and the MAGAs,
And they
right?
won't, because that's the problem. That's why we see them splitting. That's why we've seen them splitting for a long time. Um, yeah. So
What do you
you
get with
know,
this? I mean, we're talking about midterms coming up, Susan. Um, and sorry to interrupt. I,
no, go ahead.
I always tell people when we do collaborations, it's like psychic ping pong on a psychic wavelength, kind of going back and forth. But um, with midterms coming up and a lot of the primaries wrapping up, do you actually see that more and more Republicans are going to actually start standing up against Trump? Because now they don't have to worry about getting a primary challenge.
Well, I've always said they're going to rebrand. I've
Hmm.
always said they're going to rebrand. They're going to come out as a new person. We see Tucker Carlson. We've seen all these people come out and switch sides.
Hmm.
But I feel like you'll see that more, like really more, when 45 is more declawed, when he's got a little less power. They're still scared of him. He still has quite a bit of dirt on
Hmm.
them. Um, but the energy is definitely shifting that way.
Yeah. I did a show with Ness. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but
An
she's
astrologer. She's an astrologer.
moderator and does a lot of collaborations with some other psychics in the community. And when we were checking in on August, and I really, July was pretty significant, but I really felt like August was like the big month, where there's going to be a lot of change in that fire horse energy, that fiery, like take action kind of energy. Um, Something with Trump's chart shows that he's like has to go into hiding or isolating, and at the same time, JD Vance is like thrust into the spotlight. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've been talking about Trump's health for so long too. I wouldn't be surprised if August is the month that happens.
I wouldn't be surprised at all either.
Not
And
to
I
get
think we
false
talked
hope.
about this.
Timing is always hard, but
Yeah. But that's why I look to what's happening like in
yeah.
our physical reality. And what's happening in our physical reality is the Strait of Hormuz is still whatever. Iran is still powerful because they've got the Strait of Hormuz. Um, Things are falling apart. Like literally things are falling apart. It's
Hmm.
not that 45 has this white knuckle control over everything, because he doesn't. Because now the criminals are doing their own things. They're not even caring about, maybe the Congress does, but no one else really cares.
Yeah.
So I do feel like this is, like you said in your premonition, this is starting to unravel.
Well, we've been talking about the dam breaking for months and the buildup of pressure, but I actually think it's already broke. It's already water's coming out. Maybe
Yes.
it hasn't
Yes.
completely collapsed, but I think we're like right on the precipice of it.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I don't think it doesn't feel, I mean, we're going to celebrate, but it feels funky and weird to me.
Yeah,
Like
like it's
what?
unprecedented.
Like what? Like what is going to happen now? Like this, like it's going to feel weird, you guys. I don't know if that means JD disappears, or runs away. but something doesn't feel like it makes sense.
Hmm.
We can celebrate it, but then we're like, now what? Now what do we do? It almost is anticlimactic because we're dealing with this other power vacuum situation we don't know what to do with. Um,
Yeah. Well, and even if, I mean, I have my bottle of champagne in the fridge chilling for, a wonderful occasion, but, it's not going to really be, sure, we'll celebrate, but it's going to take so long to
yeah,
clean the mess up.
yeah,
It's really not, it's
yeah.
not like, the next day it's like everything's back to normal. No, we got a mess
No, it's
for years to clean
yeah.
up. And
Then the
actually,
work
I think
begins.
my dream of the collapse of the Colosseum, um, like the old order, I
Mm,
think that that's very symbolic of America too, because
for sure.
sure, we can rebuild and we can strengthen our constitution, and I've always said that that's really what Trump is doing. He's showing us where guardrails need to be strengthened and where things
Yes.
have to be modernized.
Yeah.
But the damage that he caused, I think some of it will be irreversible,
Yeah.
especially with our trade allies.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have lost faith in America and making deals with China. And I do kind of feel like it is kind of the fall of America and the rise of China right now.
Yes.
And I don't think that that's going to change once Trump's out there. I think the damage has
No.
been done.
No. 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 It's going to take us so long to figure out what happened and then to get started again. And meanwhile, the other countries have gone on without us, right? Canada's
Mhm.
making trade pacts, South America, everybody's making trade pacts that don't include us. So yeah, we'll be left out for a while.
Yeah, but I don't ever see us returning to what we were beforehand either. So
No, 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 not really. I don't either. It's just going to take some time
yeah,
to move on, to get it back together. First of all, I think it's going to take a long time to figure out what happened. How do we rebuild these departments? What departments do we want? Do we want a Department of Education? We definitely want our national parks back. We want to put in new guardrails for grifting. There's a lot to be done. And that's kind of why I wish, and I'm hopeful that we have more younger, less influenced candidates that aren't influenced by APAC, that aren't influenced by PAC money in the White House so that we
yeah,
can,
for sure.
have
I
that
don't
support.
I don't see that being like a majority reality for a while, if I'm just going to
No.
be completely honest.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this fight between, the progressives and the Democrats is going to be over now that, we're like
Oh,
Abdul
no.
won yesterday and we've had a
No, it's just
Madani, a
beginning.
lot of these um, new leadership rising. I actually think it's going to get worse, the divide, as we go
I
into the
agree.
2028 election.
Yeah. It is going
It's
to get
gonna get
worse.
worse. I
Yeah.
I feel like the rebuilding starts in 2028, but I don't really think a lot of that really big change really happens until the 2032 election.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, we'll
agree
get
with you.
some. I feel like we'll get more foundation, like constitutional amendments maybe before then, but where I really see like getting money out of politics and that corruption, that
Yeah.
feels more like 2032
Yeah.
where the energy sits right now. Let's manifest and hope that it comes in sooner and we get a candidate um, that can win in 2028 and have the support to do that. But I feel like it's a little bit of a wait. It doesn't feel like again, it's not going to be rebuilt overnight. I mean, this is going to take a while to clean all of this up.
But it's just like after a natural disaster, the hurricane or the flood or the fire is gone.
Yep.
Okay. So the threat is gone. Now you're in the rebuilding, which is grieving, and all of those things have to happen. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't think Kevin is saying nothing is going to happen.
No,
It's just that nothing, like the things we really want to happen, can't happen until we rebuild, take stock,
we kind
take
of have to
inventory.
build that foundation first, right? Before
A
we
good
actually make
foundation.
right. And structures and putting in those guardrails and the foundation before we can really make those like really changes where you know we normal people actually really feel it and feel like our government's starting actually working for us and not just their own self-interest, right?
Mhm. I
takes
do
some time.
see people dancing in the streets. I mean, even if I think our community is a little like, when your adrenaline is gone, we're in fight or flight survival
Hmm.
mode every single day. We show up with, how am I going to get through this? I need to get through this for my family, for myself. Once the adrenaline's gone, that's when you collapse. So I do think people are going to be in the streets celebrating, but I think some of us are going to be crying just from the grief of everything we've been through, that we can relax to experience grief when we couldn't before. So I think everybody's going to be experiencing something different. Um, but I do think some people will be dancing in the
Oh,
streets
absolutely.
more than worldwide, like worldwide. I think it's going to maybe even more so in other countries.
Mm. Well, and it's not just happening here in America, right? This
Oh,
shift.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
no, that's big.
happening across the whole world, right?
Right,
And letting go of old order so that we can invite, new
right.
and really kind of, to me, it feels like we're kind of stepping away from, you know, like I call it the toxic masculinity. I don't want to say all masculinity is toxic, but the power, control, um, you know, it's all about the money and really kind of shifting more into that divine feminine of compassion and love and community, right? Peace.
How about Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, right? How about we shift into justice?
Okay, yeah, like our inner warrior
We
goddess
shift into
energy.
justice mode. Um, that's kind of what I think we might be shifting into.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I can shift. I mean, maybe that's the highest path here, but I
Hmm.
don't think I can do it. I just don't think I can do it. I think I can be on the side of justice and making sure that
Hmm.
people get justice. So then, your energy is gonna go from worrying, worrying, worrying to being productive.
Mm,
Um, okay, now we've got
empowered.
this new person in office. Maybe they're great or not so great, but they're way better. The bar's low, but the
Mm,
bar's low, y'all. And now we can do some things, right? So I think we're just going to shift our energy into more productive energy,
yeah.
which is going to be helpful.
And when I say kind of shifting more into divine feminine, I don't feel like that's going to happen overnight. I mean,
I
this is
don't think
probably decade shifts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's where we're going
Yeah,
ultimately, right? Like over
absolutely.
this next several decades, we're going that direction. The bar
Absolutely.
is dragging in the mud. That's true. You're named after Artemis. That's great, Opti student. I had the very amazing opportunity many, many, many years ago to go to Greece, and I bought an Artemis statue in Greece, and I
Mhm.
shipped that sucker back to the States. So I don't have it in this room, but it's like 2.5 feet tall. So,
Okay.
and she's got her arrow. So the Artemis is something that's always kind of appealed to me, but like I never talk about it. It's just keen to me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yin yang balance. That's really where
That's
we want to be.
well,
Is
and
balance.
Earth is a school. It's our school for soul growth and development. And
That's right.
if everything was great all the time, we'd feel very comfortable. But what would we be learning? It's really through the
That's right.
the fear and
The challenge.
through the trials and all of that that we have the opportunity to grow and learn the most. So
Do you feel Space Llama Face says, have we ever been in the divine feminine before? I think
mm,
we have. There was a
yeah.
whole time when women were where we were matrilineal, we were women led before Christianity, before that that kind of maybe even before that. But there was a time I think when we were more women divinely guided.
Well, and I think too when we were more connected to Mother Earth, right?
Right, right.
And
That's
really,
right.
you know, um, respected her and all the things that she provides for us, right?
Mhm. Which I want to talk about. I know there's a question here, but I don't know if I can find it really quickly. I want to
Yeah.
talk about Elon shooting his stupid rocket into the moon, which a lot of people have said is the feminine, the divine feminine. The moon is women's cycles are based on the moon. I mean,
Yeah.
the moon is divine feminine. So, have you read on why he did that, or
I
what
have
the
not read. I don't
hell
think
he
he's done
was
it yet,
thinking when
has
he
he?
did that? Now, here it is. Calm Prism Energy said, any thoughts on Elon's rocket hitting the moon surface? According to what I've read, now I have not researched this, but people say other rockets, other satellites have hit the moon. I don't know if that's true, but this for sure is Elon, who is this megalomaniac person,
Yeah.
and very intentionally slamming a very big rocket into the moon.
But do you feel like he's
Different
doing
energy.
it? My feeling with it, and I'll throw some cards, is it's like, when you like feel like you have to show off to be cool, like, oh, I
Right,
can
right, right,
do this. So
right.
like it's like that
Watch
power
me.
move, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Yeah. And also the guides kept, and I haven't really been able to get more out of them, but they said this was target practice. I don't really understand that, but perhaps he's trying to say, I can aim my rocket at the moon, and that means I could crash my rocket into a country, right? Like
Mm.
it kind of goes along with what you're saying, Kevin, about this ego, this maniacal ego kind of energy too.
Well, and it's interesting that you talk about, like it being symbolic of, trying to destroy women.
Femininity,
And
right?
that's actually what I got in the cards. I got the Death card and the Empress come up back to back, trying to end the shift that we're going into, right?
Trying to end
In
it.
the
Yep.
rise of the divine feminine.
Right.
But I do get like it's like very much egotistical, and he's like, "Oh well, I can do it, so I'm going to." I don't know if I feel like it's going to be anything like disastrous that happens to the moon or anything
I
from
don't
that,
either.
but it's like small guys have to drive big trucks.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Right.
That's kind of the energy that I get from it.
Right. Right. Trying to
I
prove
did
he's something that he's not.
I did hear that I do believe somebody's hit something into the moon, and I think they said it made like a really loud like ringing sound, like it was like hollow, but it like there was a vibration that it created.
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
this is energy, you guys. Come on. We talk about our words being energy. There's been studies where you play classical music for plants versus, kind of this heavier, angrier music for this is all energy.
Yeah.
It's not really a no big deal to send a piece of space junk hurtling into a celestial object that has energy. I mean,
Yeah.
trust me, that like you throw a stone in the pond and it ripples out. I promise you that energy rippled out. I don't think it's devastating, but I think it is definitely something that we can't ignore. We shouldn't
Oh,
ignore.
for sure. Yeah, that's a
Trying to
good
hit the
point too,
moon. Okay,
Susan.
there you go. So
I've heard
other
of them
countries
doing
have hit the
study.
moon.
Yeah. I thought I've heard that in the past. They've done studies where like they'll say like positive and negative affirmations to
Yep.
water as they freeze it,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
can see the crystalline structure looks all discombobulated when you say something horrible to it compared to sharing love and compassion with
Right.
it. I
Right.
mean, it's the same thing when I do my healing work, really, I'm connecting to love and being a space for love to provide healing. Um, but when we say something nasty to somebody else or somebody cuts us off and, we give them the finger or, we're
Right.
thinking all this horrible things, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs are powerful creators, right? So we
Right.
can use it for good or bad.
That's right. So Snuffle Haggis fan says this was not intentional. It was space junk from the launch last year. I'm in the industry and it was not intentional. Here's where I would challenge you. Is Elon Musk himself saying, I will hit the moon with my rocket? Are you telling me that there's no guidance? Are you telling me that this thing accidentally wandered into the moon? Or are you telling me that this was intentional, that this was space junk and they sent it on an orbit towards the moon? Number one. Number two, if he says, I did this, look at me, then that's intentional. Whether it was an accident or not. If he's taking credit for something, then he's telling us, I did this. So I think there's two situations here. One is his intention and what he's telling the public, and the other is, was this an accidental? Because that's not what the media is saying. So
I don't
I don't
think
know. You're in the industry, but I'm going to tell you guys that Elon's energy is telling us what his intentions are,
did
which
I
is
just
not
freeze
right.
up, Susan, or did you freeze up?
Maybe I froze up. I need to get better. I have really good internet, but I need a Wi-Fi extender. So my
Mm,
Wi-Fi is a little not great. So it could
yeah.
be that.
If you lost it, intuitively, I feel like it was intentional. So just putting it out there. I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, we're psychics. So you know what I mean? Like I know what you're saying. You're in the industry, but we're in a different industry. So
Mhm.
maybe we're wrong, but we're
We
reading
can
energy.
agree to disagree, right?
Yeah, we're reading energy. NASA heard the ring when a lunar modular hit the moon. Wow.
Yeah,
So there
that's
is
what I
this
was talking
ringing,
about.
this ringing. Well, does it sound metal to you? I mean, hollow, I guess I assume hollow sounds like a thunk, not
No, it
like a
was a
ring.
ring. It was a
And a
ring.
ring sounds like metal, sounds like I don't know. That's interesting. Super interesting. Um, yeah. Barbara wants to know, did good moon energy ripple out? I mean, we could read about that. We could ask, how did the moon, the celestial entity of the moon, how did it feel? If we're going to ascribe energy to it, I ascribe energy to my car. My car has energy. Dogs have energy. Trees have energy. Why not the moon? So, how does the moon, if we gave it a voice, what would it say?
About being hit
about
intentionally.
about that contact, that aggressive contact.
I get Queen of Pentacles energy, which is all about security and feeling grounded. It's actually kind of like an earthly kind of energy to it. But a strength too. When I
So in
get the
other words, you can't
Emperor
hurt
too.
me.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hurt me. It's almost like, to me it feels like a flea, like you just flicked off a flea.
Yeah. I mean, I get the Emperor with this Queen of Pentacles too, which could be that toxic masculinity, or like this show of force with the Chariot too. But I get that she's like cool, calm, collected. She's
Nice.
unbothered. People in
Well,
the chat were saying too that there's like ET bases in the moon, or
yeah,
maybe the ETs brought the moon and
yeah,
put it in the orbit. I believe something like that,
yeah,
actually.
I believe something like that. Do
But
you
the
believe
moon
it's a
does have its
satellite?
own. I don't know. Well, satellite picks up information and receives it, and that's kind of my feeling with it. I don't know if satellite's the right word for it, though. That doesn't quite
Right.
resonate, but
Okay.
I think similar to like what a satellite would do,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
like
I
uh like watching
To
us,
me, it's a base. It's a
mhm,
base. It's
like
a
surveillance, maybe.
Yeah, it was put there. I feel like it was put there, right? Like
Mhm.
um,
But the moon does have her own energy too. There's a feminine energy
100%. Well, look
connected
what
with
she
the
does
moon.
to our tides, and I
Yeah.
mean, she's controls quite a bit of our world in a lot of ways, right? Um, yeah. So apparently, and I don't know this because I've been out of touch, but N.A.L. Riley says Jack Smith is going back to testify to Congress.
Did he
Well,
actually? I could be wrong. I haven't been watching much of the news myself. I heard that they were inviting him to testify. Are they
right.
demanding him to testify now?
Well, let's read if he did. Let's just say if he did go
I think
back
it's
and
the Senate
testify.
wants to
He's done it
testify.
once, and
Yeah.
I think he whooped their
And
butt.
I
I
feel
mean,
like he will too.
I can't imagine why you would want him to come back. You know what I mean? It's like,
You know why? Because they're trying to get him to slip up so that they can doctor
Right.
charges against him for lying to
Right.
Congress.
And you
Won't
know,
be
they just
successful, but
they chop up all the video. They chop it up and then create red meat for Fox. That's why they do this, right? It's just more distraction. The guides are saying this is just a big distraction. But he goes because it's not distraction, it's actually evidence. These things will be entered into the evidence.
I think he's going to go. I
I
think
think he'll
somebody
go
in
if
the
you
chat
invite
said
him.
he agreed to go. He was invited though, but I do get moving on there. Can I tell you? I feel like we've been seeing more of him too. I've been seeing him out doing
I'm
press.
telling you, the energy is
He's fighting
changing.
back. He's
Yes.
fighting back against.
You're seeing everybody
But
more.
the
Kamala, you're
reason why
seeing
they're
Pete
inviting
Buttigieg
him.
more.
hmm The
Everybody's
reason they're
coming out.
inviting him is because they want to expose him to secrets to sabotage him, essentially. And I think uh, I think the DOJ is looking into it now, just because they say he lied when he was testifying to Congress last time. So
It's not going to work. Everybody's saying it's going to
not going to
backfire.
work.
I agree. It's going to backfire. You cannot trip this man up. This man is solid steel inside and outside.
He's not somebody I'd want to make an enemy of. Just saying.
No, for real, right?
These
Right?
Republicans are playing checkers. He's playing chess. So
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And what's happening is you're right. He'll trip them up and they'll say things that will become evidence.
mhm.
Because that's what he does. He's a prosecutor. He knows how to get people to say things. So these Republicans will never see it coming. They'll just totally incriminate
And
themselves with the
I
guys just
do feel that part two
said.
of the documents case.
Hmm.
I can't tell you when it's going to be exposed, but I do feel like the public will get to see those classified documents that Trump stole.
Hmm. I do too.
I
As
think
part of
sooner
that
rather than
grief
later
thing.
too.
What's that?
I said sooner rather than later too.
Yeah, sooner rather than later too. We're going to see pretty much as we want to, and more than we want to. The guides are
Well,
saying, right?
I don't think
So
they're not going to tell us exactly what all the top secret information is, but I think
we'll see enough,
we'll get some hints to know like what it was about, right?
and it'll absolutely turn the stomachs of everybody, just not just us, but a lot of Republicans as well. Um,
Absolutely.
have you been reading on the water attacks, the hacking with the
I
water?
did hear that. But Trump said it was what happened in Minnesota, and he was blaming Waltz for it.
Probably blaming Iran, knowing him.
No,
Um,
he was blaming Waltz.
oh, Waltz. He was blaming
Yeah.
Waltz. Nice. His other favorite person to blame.
Can I tell you, I haven't read on this in a while, but maybe like last year I was picking up that there was going to be hacking into our infrastructure by Iran and
Yep.
adversaries. My first thought is actually I feel we've talked about it, possibly an inside job, but actually I do feel like it was like Russia, Iran.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't excuse Israel or China
No.
because the goal here is to destabilize us. The more destabilized we are, the less our dollar is worth, the more, we can't come together on issues. We can't elect somebody who's really good because we're infighting. So all those countries have a vested interest in us infighting and hating each other.
Well, and I think there was a report too of Russia hacking a water cleaning
Yes.
place a few years ago too.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I do feel like there might be some hacks into like the power grid too.
100%. Yeah. We've both talked about this. It's easy. And when people ask me, "Oh, is China or Russia or whoever going to put troops on the ground?" They don't need to.
No.
Just need some 18-year-old whiz kid hacker dude to hack into the municipal water or the electric grid and shut it off. And I'll
Or
tell
vote
you,
tabulating machines.
or the tabulating or all the above, right?
Yeah.
And the guides, I've been talking so long about this water thing. I've been telling people to buy water. It's not about having tablets to purify water.
Mhm.
There's no water. So what the guides keep telling me is that, you can cut the electricity, and yes, people will likely maybe even perish, but if you cut the water,
Yeah.
nobody can flush their toilets. Now you have health concerns. It's a much bigger deal actually to not have water. You can't
Hmm.
live without water. You can live without food for a couple of weeks, right? If whatever. You can't live without water. And I'm telling you, there's no water. That's why I keep telling you guys to have
Yeah.
5 to 8 gallons of water on hand. And it's not even to drink, it's to flush a toilet. This is what the guides have always said. So that's
Well,
a big danger here.
and besides with hacking, it's not a bad idea to have extra water and food in your pantry too, with
It
all
is
of
not a bad idea
with
right now if
weather
you can.
events and
Yeah.
fires and
Yeah.
earthquakes and all of that too. So
Yeah, right. Seriously, right?
like nobody's safe from everything going
Natural
on.
disasters.
I don't feel intuitively, I do feel like there may be some hacks into our infrastructure, like electric, water. Um, but I don't see it being like on a like a whole US
No,
scale. It feels
no.
like it's isolated.
It's patches,
Hmm.
right? But and because we don't have a media, they're not reporting on all this stuff, right? So you might not even know that it's happening.
Yeah,
So that's why people ask me, I'm like, I can't tell you what state or what city because it's just going to be hit and miss. That's terrorizing. That's the whole purpose of terrorizing
yeah.
is that you never know. It could be a little town, it could be a big city. That's the whole idea behind that kind of attack.
Not to
Um,
mention too, we haven't really invested in our infrastructure and you know, a long time. I mean, what we were talking
Also
about,
true.
like Flint, Michigan, and their water, and I'm sure
Also
other
true.
places not having sanitary water and clean water too.
Also true. And with these data centers, you're going to have less clean
Yeah,
water. And look, I'm not saying 5 or 8 gallons is going to solve a water crisis. I'm saying that 5 or 8 gallons might get you through a week with no water flushing your toilet. And, we're not talking about no water forever. We're not talking about famine. We're talking about 3, 5 days before your city can start delivering you water.
well, right. And also too, what happens when there is an emergency like that? Everybody goes out and hoards all of the stuff, so you won't be able to go
Yeah.
and buy water from the store.
Yeah, yeah, and who's gonna carry some of us can't carry 5 gallons of water, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why also I'm just telling you what my guide said. They said 3 to 5 gallons, but, like, if you got a family or horses or something, you're gonna need more, right? So you can Google how much water for one person. You can Google that, but my guide said, "Right now," and I moved this water, y'all. Why didn't I just pour it out and go buy more? I don't know, but anyway, um I have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 gallons. It's me and 2 dogs. Um, I don't know. You'll have to make your own decision. It's gonna be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Are you eating lettuce, Kevin? I'm gonna be honest and say that I don't even like lettuce. Like, I don't like vegetables. I'm craving a salad in the worst possible way. I'm
Oh, really?
craving a salad. Like, please let me have I think it's reverse psychology. So I'll eat vegetables. Um, Now
Yeah,
there
but you
are
can't.
some brands that you can
Mhm.
get that are hydroponic, that are clear, but Taylor Farms is a lot of brands.
Yeah.
It's sold at Whole Foods, it's sold at Walmart, it's sold under all these different labels.
I will say I have not been eating as much lettuce lately, but
I
I
have
I
not.
have picked up some from, like, the farmer's market.
There you go. Nice. Yep. That's not a bad idea.
Mhm.
Farmers market, maybe we'll grow our own hydroponic lettuce or hydroponic vegetables or whatever. Um,
Yeah, you can and, Ray says in the chat you can grow sprouts at home. Yeah.
yeah, especially hydroponically, right? Like you
Mhm.
can actually have a nice little setup in your living room. They come with lights, they come with the whole thing. Um, so
Well, we all know it was a result of, well, what was it? The FDA first said it was Taylor Farms, and then they retracted it because
Yeah,
Taylor Farms gave a bunch of money to Trump,
that's
because
right.
this is all transactional
That's right.
for
That's right.
these big companies and Trump,
That's right.
and also too, when you have Republicans in there and they want to do deregulation and you know
Yes.
pollute, and in this case, not use probably the right fertilizer for things growing, and they can take shortcuts and make it cheaper, and then we have a health crisis over it, right?
Right. Exactly. It's just, and I guess also now berries are being recalled, and there's some lunch meats that are being recalled. Look,
Okay.
I told you this, that these regulations would disappear, and corporations cannot self-govern. They cannot. They've never been able to self-govern.
Hmm.
We've always needed regulations, because if you don't have those, they'll just go for the greed. They'll go for
Yeah,
that extra penny, and if that means people get sick, they don't care,
they
because
don't care.
now
They
nobody's
care
there
about
to
money
take.
in their pocket, right?
Right. That's all it is about, right? Good summer to go keto. That's funny. Well, I had a pretty kind of weird, I want Kevin to chime in on this. Had a weird download about meat a couple of days ago.
Mm,
That's kind of, well, I've said that there were going to be meat problems. I've said this for months, but I got this kind of deep download that I put on Threads that's kind of bummed me out a little bit. But anyway, so I saw meat becoming very expensive. I mean, like really like
mm,
unattainable expensive. And that's due to new viruses happening with herd animals, but also these data centers that are popping up in rural areas. Farmers are saying their calves are being born stillborn. They're saying
right.
it's really affecting their animals. It's affecting the water. They're taking the water and then they're irrigating crops, which is making the crops go, feeding the
Yeah.
animals, which is, it is just like a cluster, you know what? And so I saw between this fall, and specifically, they just talked about Super Bowl, because not that I'm a big football fan, but that's a time when people grill out. That's a really kind of popular time in the United States for people to have meat on the smoker.
Hmm.
And they said, that's when it's going to start this fall, but by February, people are going to be like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? This is insane how expensive this is. And the other part that I got was this meat substitute. That's the part that was kind of a bummer.
Oh,
So I know, I
I don't know
think
how I feel about that.
I
You're
don't feel
talking
good
about
about it. I don't
lab
feel good
grown
about
meats
it.
and
We
all of
all think
that.
of Soylent Green. We all
No.
think that when we see that. But I saw it. I saw, and I think Bill Gates is already doing this. I saw this meat
Mm,
substitute, food substitute. They're going to package it up. They're going to make Medicaid people that they're going to make them take it. They're going to make the military take it, because the military has to do whatever you tell them to do. So I think this, and then those are government contracts.
mm.
Those are government contracts. That's how you get the product out there. But they're not ever going to make us eat that stuff. We're just not going to eat it.
What do you think people? I think more people probably go vegetarian. I know that
I
I'm
think
not eating
so.
lab grown meat, not anytime in
That's
the
what
near
I'm saying.
future. So I
That's what
do
I'm
agree
saying.
with you. I do feel there may be some meat prices that go up, or we may have a bit of like not being able to keep some things in stock or things being recalled, but I don't feel it being, or there's nothing on the shelves, right? I think we'll
No,
have
they'll
to
be
do,
expensive.
yeah. But I
They'll
do
be
think
expensive.
there'll be some options there. But I mean, what was it when beef prices went crazy last
I think
year?
that's going to happen again. And then I
Yeah.
think the other thing is, do you remember that? I want to use a different name for it, mad cow disease. Remember when mad cow disease came out?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? Because it was in the fast food meat. And
Mm.
what happens is it made you, it actually killed you. It was a
Makes your brain
terrible
swell.
disease. Yes, it was a terrible disease. And then of course regulations came in, and we got it under control. We
Mhm.
have no regulations. So I think that kind of thing, those kinds of things. So coupled with the fact that it's expensive, it's like Russian roulette. It's like
Yeah.
Russian roulette with lettuce. Is this the lettuce that's going to give me the runs or not? Is this the berries or not? Is this the meat or not? We're not going to eat it. What are we going to eat?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to eat stuff. I don't see famine, but it's
Right.
just going to be, Americans are not used to this. We're not used to going to the grocery store and not having our full choices. It's
Yeah.
gonna it's gonna freak people out. Yeah, I like screwworm, but I think that screwworm, there's new viruses or bacteria that's gonna affect all, the guide said all livestock,
Mm.
cows, chickens, pigs, lamb, all the livestock.
When are you
Uh,
picking this up? Are you picking it up for next year, 2027,
I
or
feel like
sooner?
it starts this fall very slowly,
Mhm.
and then it gets kind of catches on quickly, and then by next spring it's pretty prevalent.
Okay. Because I was feeling as you were talking about it,
We're
this may
going to
be
eat
more
donuts.
so into next year.
Yeah.
But I do feel, I mean, if we ran into something like that, I think there would be a lot of calls to put regulations and inspectors back into these positions too. But
Look,
I mean, I think it'll be a mess to clean up for a little while.
salad, you might say salad tends towards crunchy granola liberals. A rack of ribs, right? Uh, Meat, that's going to be MAGAs. And when those MAGAs can't eat their meat, that's going to be another awakening for them.
Maybe something will happen to the Coors Light. Coors or Miller Lite. Maybe
Maybe
they won't like that.
so. Oh my
Can
God.
you imagine?
Oh no. That would be funny, actually.
Yeah. I see us being okay with it though. Like we're gonna get by, but
When that's what their suggestion was, buy a freezer. If you have a freezer, also their suggestion was get to know your local butcher. And this again is where if you have immigrants in your town, they know how to butcher and they know how to get cheap cuts and they know how to cook cheap cuts. So if we get in connection with our local, farmers and ranchers, even if it's statewide, go, you know what I mean? Like, and here's the other thing they said, because it's so expensive. Look, if you're going to a butcher, it's going to be expensive. They
mhm,
said meat will become less prominent in your meal plan. So you might have meat twice a week
rather than every day.
rather than every day. Again, who's that going to affect, you guys? Who's going to feel some kind of way about that? Republicans.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that's going to get them.
People in the chat are talking about lab grown meat. Yeah, I'll pass
Uh,
on that.
I will pass on it, but
You know, we can live off of donuts, right? I mean, that's pretty nutritious, right?
I mean,
Chocolate
look,
and
y'all,
cheese.
if
Well,
y'all
maybe not
got me
cheese.
missing lettuce, I mean, I'm happy to live off donuts, but if I'm missing lettuce, some stuff is really going down. Okay, I'm just saying. Right, like the old days, Evelyn, that's what the guides were showing me is kind of like even during the Depression, you would have a soup on the
Mhm.
stove. It wouldn't have any meat in it, right? Or meat was only on Sundays or some specific day, Saturdays. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We're talking, well, since I said like I'm feeling more of this more into next year, even though it's going on now. Um, but more energy around it next year. I actually kind of feel next year economically it's not going to be a really great year. I'm not
mhm.
feeling a depression, and I know even for this year, I never felt like it was going to be a massive recession or like a depression, but I felt like inflation and costs being super high and people losing their job and it being difficult. But next year, I actually feel like the economy is not going to be the best. I don't feel a crash, but I feel like more recession into next year. That would make
Yeah,
sense too if there's food shortages or um
high or
mhm,
stagflation. The guides always talk about stagflation, stagnant, high prices that just won't come down, I guess.
Interest rates might come down, though. They tend to come down when the economy's not doing well.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah.
That would be a helpful thing.
Yeah. But next year it feels a bit harder. Like all the damage Trump's doing, really, we start to feel it even more next year.
When some of those laws they pass go into effect after the midterms,
Yeah.
some of those really crappy laws that they passed that some Democrats voted for are going to come into effect after the midterms, and then we have to just deal with it, right? I'm glad you guys are sharing lentils and mushrooms, and this is what we need. We're going
Yeah.
to need to understand how to adapt. I don't Kevin and I are not fear mongers. We're not about that, but we're about forewarned is forearmed, and how we can help you get through this, right? If you
Yeah.
know this, you can start saving now for a side of beef. If you're that person that loves beef, you may start thinking about, can I go in with my neighbor, can I go in with my family and get a side of beef and then split it up, right? There are ways to deal with this. You don't have to be a victim to it. If forewarned is forearmed,
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I don't feel it being apocalyptic too. You'll still be able to go to the grocery store and get food, but we'll just have to be good at
it might not be
substituting,
what you want,
right?
right? Might not be what you
Making
want.
substitutions. We'll have to be creative with it.
Right, right. And if you don't want to cook or can, maybe there's somebody in your neighborhood or your
Yeah.
community that wants to do that. Maybe you got a bumper crop of tomatoes and you give it to them, and they take some of the tomatoes and they give you some tomato sauce, right? So it's also about that energy of bartering and supporting each other.
You know what's interesting about that too? Around COVID, more people started growing their own food, right?
I
Uh,
know. I know.
and I think we may start to go back to that too, especially
We're
if we
going to
can't
go back
trust
to it
that
after this whole thing.
we can't trust where our food's coming from.
And look, if you can grow, the problem with Texas, I could grow lettuce in the winter. I could grow lettuce all winter, but I could not grow it in the summer. But
Me
if
too.
you're doing hydroponics in your house,
Yeah.
you can kind of grow year round. So there could be more of an increase in that kind of technology, or that kind of a popularity of that technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are joined us late, Kevin started off by talking about him having a premonition of sort of Rome falling, crashing, and burning, and
Coliseum.
um, the Colosseum. And I've always seen Trump as Caesar or Caligula. So you could go
Isn't that
back to the beginning
interesting?
of our conversation.
Or
Um,
like our psychic ping pong kind of matching up
yeah,
metaphorically, symbolically for
yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, and growing food for wildlife is so important, right? So if you are going to, or you want a hobby, you want to stop paying attention to news, and you want to plant flowers that might be pollinators for a specific butterfly, because some butterflies really only lay eggs or have their cocoon on certain plants, like
Mm,
milkweed. Learn about it for your community. What butterfly needs a host plant, and go plant one. You don't have to have a green thumb, just throw it in the ground, right? So, yeah, there's lots of ways to help this situation, that
yeah.
on every level.
I never used to be very gifted with gardening, and to be honest with you, I'm still not that great with it. But can I tell you, like my house plants?
Oh, wow.
I just started sending them Reiki,
Oh,
and
nice.
they look really good right now. So we were talking about energy exchange earlier too. So whether you have Reiki or you just want to send gratitude, to Mother Earth, to the plants
To the moon,
of your own garden.
apologize. Like,
Yeah,
we're sorry for the jerk, the human
for
that did
Elon.
this. You know? Grow a pizza plant. Now that would be, oh man, I would totally be into that. But unfortunately, I think that's what Bill Gates has in mind. um, eat this, it's pizza. Like the guides told me, remember when, I think it was during the pandemic, or who knows when, we've been through so many things. People were buying all of those survival foods. You,
Mm,
you could spend $300, $500 on a box of survival foods that when you open them and try to eat them. They taste horrible.
It's
Ask
like
me how
all
I know,
powder.
because I've been through so many hurricanes where I'm like, this is terrible, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that he wants to replace the disaster food. He wants to give it to the Red Cross. He wants to, these people with billions, they can force, they can literally force the product on you. Doesn't mean it's going to be successful, but it means that some people will probably have to use it.
Yeah, I'm not eating lab grown meat, so they can
I,
try to force all
I'm
they
not
want.
doing it. Maybe it'd be interesting to see what younger people think about it. But do
I
you
mean,
remember space food? Do you guys remember that?
we have so many health issues from,
Oh, I know.
our diets as it is now. Like
True.
I'm
More
not
chemical, right? More,
yeah, I'm not ingesting
right.
lab grown stuff. No. No, thank you. I'll go
It's
vegetarian first.
right. The problem with fish, there's a couple of problems with fish. First of all, we're overfishing the fish. We're clearing out entire species with these huge commercial boats that have nets as big as your house. Um, that's the first problem. The second problem is that there can be mercury, there can be heavy metals in the fish, especially if they're bottom feeding. Um, so
Well,
you
think
can
about
eat it, but you need to be aware of some things.
all the pollution in the water, or
The
if you
farmed
buy
fish is very polluted.
farmed raised fish, where I'm sure that they're feeding it not
Yeah.
great stuff.
Antibiotics,
Yeah.
the whole thing. Look, when I grew up, it was unusual to see a sign that said, don't eat fish from this river, lake. And now you see it more often. So that is kind of the problem with being a pescatarian. You just have to know where it's coming from. And if you live in an area that you can go fishing or shrimping or whatever it is, and you know that it's relatively free of heavy metals, then go for it. But if you're in Kansas, that's probably not going to be your go-to situation.
Right. All right.
That's true, Becky, about sprouts. I mean, I love that you guys are sharing this in the chat, helping each other out. It doesn't have to be hard. It's just like Kevin said, during the pandemic, we all started crocheting, we started gardening, we started all of these things. We can do it. We can do this.
Well,
It's
think
not.
about it too. With all the weather and earth disasters that happen all the time, I think a lot of it is just testing our resourcefulness, right? We're gonna have to be resourceful and adaptive.
That's it right there. And
And
rely
we
on
come
each other.
together and support one another. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, jackfruit, that's interesting.
I haven't had jackfruit, but I think you can cook it up like meat.
Really?
I
You
think
could cook it
so.
up like tastes like your favorite meat, depending on your spices. That's what
Mhm.
Trouble Chef is saying.
I've never had that
Wow.
before, but I've heard of
So
it.
there you go. But where are you going to find a jackfruit? You're going to find it at the immigrant-owned grocery store. That's where you're going to find these things. So please go search out these places and support them and help them, because they're going to help you, because they're immigrants know how to get through these lean
Yeah.
times more than anybody. Anything else you want to talk about, Kevin? Oh, we're over time already. Wow, that went fast.
I don't know. Anything else on your mind, Susan? We have so much going on, and I do feel July was pretty significant with some of the stuff going on. Some surprises too, with like Lindsey Graham passing away, and I do feel like that's going to be a theme of, like, again, old orders crumbling, old leadership crumbling. But I do feel like this. I feel August, and even into September being really active. And then we kind of get into like midterms, October, November too. Do you Good Karma asked, and I haven't read on this, but do you feel Max Miller, he's a congressman, is going to resign? Have you heard of him, Susan?
I haven't, but I feel like he will. I feel like he will resign. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm glad you pulled it up because I think that I think I saw that question.
He was abusing his ex-wife and
Oh God.
daughter, and actually, his father-in-law was Ohio's Senator Bernie Moreno,
Oh,
and so him and some other Republicans have called on him to resign. You know, I can read people very, very good, and for entertainment purposes only, I believe all of the accounts of abuse and that are out there for him, because I can just feel that hate energy all around him. I don't know if he's going to resign. I don't think he'll win re-election though. But let me throw a few cards on Max Miller. I haven't read on him yet.
I feel like they might make him go. To me, this feels like a Madison Cawthorn thing where he doesn't want to
Okay.
go, but he's being made to go.
I think more information about his past coming up too, and maybe even more information about abuse towards his daughter, because I have the Six of Cups, which is all about children, memories
Oh
from the
God,
past.
that's sick. These
There's
people are sick.
disappointment here. I see him leaving. Actually, Four of Swords is retreat. I feel like there's going to be more information coming out. He's packing up his what and leaving.
He's packing up his what. I think he's really worried about prison. I think he's really worried about his freedom, honestly.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is seeking re-election.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like they're gonna force him out.
Well, and I think actually, you know what? I hope he does run for re-election, because I think that would be a seat that Democrats.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But if he drops out before it's too late for them to launch somebody else with a lot of money, then that would also be helpful.
Yeah.
One last question. Do you see people want to know about the government shutdown? Do you feel
I see it shutting down?
Do you see a shutdown in October?
Yeah. Isn't it supposed? Aren't they voting for it in September? I thought.
It could be in September. This is the question: is October?
I haven't thrown cards on it, but intuitively, I feel like a big flashing yes to the question.
Do you feel like it's going to be a long time, like a month or weeks or?
Well, I mean,
days?
midterms are right up too. So I mean,
oh, that's right.
Do you think the Republican Party is going to allow there to be a shutdown when there's voting taking place?
I don't think they're going to want that.
I think they'll cave. Maybe Democrats will get a win here. It's end of September. They're stuck. It's a bit of a fight, but then I get that there's some kind of offer. To me, it feels shorter.
Yeah, a week or less, like 8, maybe a little more than a week.
2 weeks tops. I'm seeing the number 2.
Yeah.
You have the Two of Swords here. This is feeling stuck at a crossroads.
Right.
Yes, there'll be a shutdown. It will be stalled. It's going to be a bit of a fight. But then I see that there's some kind of offer that comes through. And actually, I feel like there's an agreement on both sides. So I'm seeing the Two of Swords, Two of Cups, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 days, 2 weeks. I don't think it's 2 months, because
it feels longer than 2 days. I would say I was getting longer than a week, so I think more like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't think that they're not going to drag it on until when it's people will be early voting at that time, and then we have an election in a month. So I don't think that we're going to have a shutdown with elections. That would be suicide for the Republican Party.
Yeah, that wouldn't go well. I mean, they're already going to have enough problems because they're already shutting down the number of polls that you can go to. I don't know if you guys are hearing this. They're really number on the accessibility of people to VOTE.
I wonder if they just kick it down the can. What is it? One of those is it a
they could just do a little
is it a continuing resolution?
60-day 90. I feel like they're going to do a 90-day continuation, and then the whole thing falls apart again in December or January.
Yeah, I feel like it may be a bit of a kick the can until after midterms, but I do get that there is a negotiation, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, but
I think
that's
that
hard.
they probably would have to give Democrats something for them to agree to extend it. I feel like they're getting them something.
But not, but it's Jeffries. What is Jeffries going to
Yeah,
ask for? You know, like just say my name nice. Okay, say
write
my
me
name nice.
a nice letter.
Right. And then we'll let you do whatever you want to do, right? Like whatever it is, he's going to flout it at being this big I fought the man and won, and we're all going to be looking at him like, really? The whole
Yeah.
country is on fire. And this is what you brought us? This is like,
You know what though? I will say I'm very disappointed with the leadership in our party. Um, but can I say I actually feel like if we're that close to a midterm, we might actually hear some opposition and fight there.
do you? I
Yeah.
I hope. What, but is it real or is it just like placating?
Well, I mean, I think it will be because you want to somewhat energize the
Yeah,
base, right? I mean,
you
they've been
like
silenced. It's been crickets from them since Trump's got in there, right?
that's
So
right, in my opinion.
I'm going to throw some cards. I do feel Chuck Schumer will not be uh,
For the love of God.
majority leader or leader in the Senate. I've always kind of felt very like 50-50 with Jeffries. I feel like if he does become speaker, it will be very short. Like it might be 2 years, but I'm going to actually read with all of this infighting and more of the progressive, more fighter kind of energies coming in.
Okay.
If
Plus,
they would actually support Jeffries, I don't think that they would support Schumer.
well, Schumer's in the Senate, right? Jeffries
Yeah,
is it. Who would replace Schumer? I'm trying to think. Who? I don't even know. Warren?
I
Um,
think Warren would be great. I don't think it will be her. I think it's a man,
I don't
another
think they'll
man.
give it to her because they're scared of her. They don't.
It'll be. I feel a man.
They need a yes man. Another. Everybody, calm down. Everybody, calm down. That's what I just keep hearing them saying, and then you want to punch them. Stop telling me to calm down, damn it. What are the cards? Where did you get your cards?
I I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't. I'm kind of getting a bit of like mixed bag. Maybe it's
Oh
not
God,
fully
Cory
decided.
Booker.
No, I don't feel it's Cory Booker.
Oh,
I
don't
was
give me
thinking
a
maybe
headache.
White House, but then when I was thinking about White House, I don't
Raskin.
think it will be him. But I do think it will be an older.
It could
Actually, I
be
think it will be a more progressive male, older male.
Raskin.
Raskin's in the Congress. I don't see him as speaker. I don't think. I think he'd be great as speaker. White House would be great as majority leader, but
I mean, he would be great as anything.
yeah,
He's got the moxie we're
both of
looking
them.
for. Um,
I do get that there's a retreat from Jeffries here, though, and this could be them turning away from him. He's trying to barter with them to gain support, and he
oh, for
may
the
be
love of
able
God.
to for like one term. But I do feel like there's a very heavy judgment against the leadership in the party where I don't know. When I get that with the Four of Swords, it could be for one term or they might desert him beforehand. I guess it will depend on how he fights back. Might be one of
Rokana.
those free will decisions. No,
Rokana.
it's not Bernie.
Do you think it's Rokana? I'm getting really good energy around
Let me
Rokana.
put some cards on Rokana. It
I'm
might be
getting,
Van Halen. Adrian says Van Halen.
yeah, Van Halen, Rokana. Those are the ones that stand out to me. It'd be great, Jasmine Crockett for speaker, but I don't see it. I don't
I've
see them
al-
bringing. I know they can bring an outsider. She won't be elected. I know that that's possible, but I don't see it happening.
no, I don't see that either.
I just don't see
I
it.
I see AOC eventually being speaker or a
Yes,
majority leader, but I don't think it's right now. Um, who were we just asking about? Sorry.
Rokana and Van Halen.
Rokana. I feel like he may be
Rokana.
considered, but I don't know if it's him.
Okay,
I think they might be going in a bit of a different direction, but people are putting it out there.
Chris Murphy. Well, this is
Yeah.
interesting. What I like is we have a few people to consider who I would be okay with, right? Like I'd be okay with any of those, Chris Murphy, Van Hollen, or Rokana. I mean, they're none of them are going to like knock my socks off, but they're better than what we have.
Let
Kamala
me throw
Harris would
some
have to
cards on
run.
it because maybe I can't tell you exactly who it will be, but maybe we can actually see, are they going to be a good leader, right?
Oh, that sounds better. Yeah, let's
Maybe
do
are they
that.
going to be somebody that actually meets the importance of the moment and fights back? I
Right.
do feel whoever they pick in the House
Hmm.
will be very good at fundraising and has like a big network with fundraising, but it doesn't feel like it's like big donors like corporations.
Oh, okay. So it's more
It feels more like
community,
a grassroots.
grassroots,
Yeah.
grassroots.
Adam Schiff would be great too. I don't see it as him.
I don't see it either. To me, it feels like Rokana, Van Hollen, or Chris Murphy.
I get that this is a in the House, it feels like it's a younger male energy. I get a Knight of Wands, which is actually I get like Page of Wands, Knight of Wands as like this new progressive movement. So I think it's going to be somebody that really inspires people and is a bit of that fighter that we want.
We
Somebody that's
need that.
very good with messaging,
It's a dude.
and it feels more like a male.
Okay.
I feel like both will be male, but I do feel Senate may be an older white male.
Yeah.
And
Course.
whoever comes through as speaker has a really strong foundation and support. So I think he'll be able to rally people.
Well, that would be amazing. You guys, that's what we need. If we have that, please let us have that kind of leader. Right? If we had that kind of leader, that could actually bring us together faster and we could get through this rebuilding process faster.
Yeah.
We can do this fast. You know, we saw Biden, god dang, what he did in 4 years, right? We can do this in 4 years. We can do it 2 years. But we have to have somebody who's really going to be leading us.
Yeah. I
Andy
don't
Young, I love Andy Young, but I don't see it's him.
like I said, if it is
Oh,
Hakeem,
John Ossoff.
I think John Ossoff would be great, but no, in the Senate, I feel it's an older man. I definitely feel Chuck Schumer leaving after midterms.
Bye.
Hakeem, goodbye. Hakeem Jeffries, I am like feeling 50-50. I guess it depends if he meets the moment right now or not. But if he does
What
get in,
moment? He doesn't even know what moment it is.
Yeah, that's very true.
Ooh, I love Maxwell Frost. I love Maxwell Frost. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, you guys. I'm happy to know that it's going to be somebody that we can trust and somebody that's going to be a grassroots person. That's huge to me. And there's a few candidates that meet that. So that's good news.
Absolutely.
Really good news.
Like I said, it's going to be interesting. I've been talking about for years about how the Republican Party is going to crumble and fracture with MAGA, and when Trump goes down, that whole party is going to implode. But we're seeing a bit of it in the Democratic Party too, and I think it will be interesting going up to 2028 because I think if it's another corporate Democrat that's getting APAC money and big corporate money, I actually think we may get into a situation where young people leave the party and start a second party. But if we could actually meet with the moment and go along with where the party's going, and we saw that kind of, maybe not all the parties there, but last night with the Michigan Senate race, with Abdul winning, and that's very much the future of the party. But if the leaders in charge now are going to try to sabotage that, I wouldn't be surprised if a new party comes up.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that timeline that outcome.
I have too. And I have seen these kids, just going off, completely off the freeway, right? Because they don't feel like anybody's listening to them.
Yeah.
And they're very active. So they're not just going to walk away. They're going to take they're going to make us pay, is what the guides are saying. They're going
Yeah.
to make their voices heard, create a real alternate party. And that party, if you think about Gen Z, Gen X, whatever, Gen Alpha, think about what they can do compared to the Democratic Party. Think about the kind of messaging that they can get going. Like they
Yeah.
could run circles around those old dinosaurs. So it's
Well,
going
and
to
the
be,
move.
the guys just called it a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party.
Well, the momentum is definitely building for this progressive, more vocal. I think. Well, the reason why I think Trump actually won, I mean, I think people are desperate for change, right? They want the
Yeah, that's
government to
true.
work for them. Now, I'm not saying, well, Trump definitely changed a lot, maybe not for the better, but
No.
um, I mean, you heard Obama and all of that momentum he built because he was bringing in change. I think if Bernie would have won the nomination in 2016, I think Bernie would have actually got the presidency. Um, but I feel, this movement isn't ending anytime soon, and Democrats can open it up and shift the party, or it makes me a little bit worried for 2028 because I'm sorry if it's another candidate that they don't like,
If it's another
they're not
old
going to
white
vote.
dude,
They're
if it's
not going to
another old
vote.
white dude, they're not going to vote, or they're gonna vote third party. Um,
I feel
yeah.
like that movement is definitely building and growing, and so the
What if
party
they
can
vote
either
third
move the
party and the
moment.
third party wins?
Yeah, I don't
What
know if
if
I feel like that would be the case right now, but um, it's definitely going to build momentum. So
Yeah. Lots going on, everybody. A lot going on right now. So that's why we have to eat our Wheaties, drink our water, eat, get whatever safe fruits and vegetables you can eat, get your rest. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. We're going to be in this for the long haul because we
yeah,
want to fix this planet. We want to fix our country. It's not going to happen overnight.
for
Yeah, we
sure.
may have four parties. I think Kevin and I both have seen multiple parties for sure. I think that is almost a given. And I think it's
Hmm.
going to help because it won't be so divided, us
Yeah,
against them. It'll be coalitions. These two get together, those two get together, then these two get together. It'll just be more representative of
yeah.
us.
I felt that there may be a younger party that's independent that is maybe a little bit more fiscally conservative, like with the budgets and all of that,
Oh, interesting.
but
That's interesting.
very much, um, you know, um, all caring about the environment and climate change and inclusivity and more, progressive on social issues.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think too, these data centers, it's
Yes.
going to be a huge topic in 2028. They're
Yes.
talking about putting a data center over like in the next town from me, and it's very
Wow.
Republican. And I actually feel like, if Democrats were really good with their messaging, they would be pretty vocal about stopping some of those, and they may actually get some Republican supporters.
That's that's the problem. Where are they? They're out. They're gone. They're,
They're bought and paid for.
they're probably they're getting paid by it, right? That's
Yeah,
these data centers are going to turn MAGAs into Democrats. All of it. All of it's turning MAGAs, or not, maybe
but
not MAGAs, but Republicans.
well,
Definitely
that's why
Republicans.
we need to get money out of politics because there's corruption on both sides,
Yeah,
Democrat and
that's true.
Republican. So,
Not 100% true. 100% true.
but
Yeah.
that's part of the cleanup that we're doing. Absolutely, Forest
Yeah.
Lady.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for coming
You too,
on. I
Jen.
appreciate it. If you guys joined us late, please watch from the beginning. We covered so many important topics. And I know you would like to know about those things. So just start at the beginning. But thanks, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Please check out Kevin's channel. And thank you, Sharon Sipe, and all of the Gloria and all of Kevin Lewis Medium. Hey, good to see you. Thank you to all the moderators. I appreciate you being here and helping us out as usual. Yep, Sharon. I don't know who all my moderators here tonight, but I appreciate you guys so much. And check out Kevin's channel,
Thank you,
his
Susan.
YouTube channel for his own predictions, right? And also his Reiki and readings and things that he does as well. And you can check out my channel by scanning that QR code or going to SusanLynnMedium.com, where you can sign up for my free newsletter or you can join my online community. Lots of things, lots of ways for you to get help here, right? These live streams are free. We're all in this together. We're all walking through this together, helping each other get through this. So, and we're going to continue doing that.
I always say, like, I mean, Trump is ushering in changes, but the one thing that I am actually grateful for that he did is he's brought this wonderful community of light workers together.
That's right.
So in that sense, there's so much love and support in this group, and us together will make it through the storm, right?
Yeah. 100%.
But thank you for having me, Susan. I always enjoy our monthly collaborations. We'll chat afterwards and talk about having you on my channel next month. Sure, there'll be a lot of readings between now and then, right? I feel like we've been so busy, so much going on.
Yeah. But lots going on right now. Lots going on. Thank you all for spending your evening with us. Take really good care of yourselves. It's super important. And we will see you next time, sometime soon. All right. Take care.
Bye, everyone.